When I was my only employee, I was head janitor, purchaser, receiver, production, whatever, programmer. And as it grows, eventually the company takes on kind of a culture of its own, a personality of its own.
Here we are at 0 Hour Parts. Now, I'm with my buddy Dan. This company started about 15 years ago in a garage, and I love these types of growth stories and success, especially here in the U.S., the country that I call home. And with friends like Dan, we love seeing these stories and hearing about these stories. Dan, thank you so much for taking your time to share 0 Hour Parts journey with the global audience.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
So starting in a garage, what gave you the crazy concept that you were going to go into manufacturing, and how did it start even before that?
I always liked working with my hands, engineer by education, and to be honest with you, 15 years ago, I was frustrated with machine shops. Back then, you'd send a fax off, and your quote would show up in a week maybe, and your parts might show up in 8 to 12 weeks. And I just wanted a better way. I wanted my parts, I wanted to pay extra. I was looking around, I wanted to pay a little bit extra for my parts in 1 to 2 weeks, which didn't exist at the time. So I, for some reason, call it visionary or call it crazy, I don't know. I bought my own machine and taught myself how to make my own parts that I designed. And before I knew it, other engineers were coming out the woodwork to ask me to make their parts in an expedited fashion. And the business shifted towards fast turnaround manufacturing instead of engineering, which I haven't done for many, many years now.
I do think visionary is the correct term. It originally started as crazy, but it's definitely walking around this shop a visionary. So, garage shop, 5,000 square feet, 15,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet, currently in 40,000 square feet. What's that growth been like?
Oh, it's been a roller coaster. I mean, one of the biggest hurdles I found is figuring out my role at the different stages of growth. When I was my only employee, I was head janitor, purchaser, receiver, production, whatever, programmer. And as it grows, eventually the company takes on kind of a culture of its own, a personality of its own. And it's interesting to watch. And so I'm always trying to assess my role. Where do I fit into the company? I haven't made chips, although I like making parts. I haven't made chips in probably 4 years. But the business requires me to be in other places to help it along.
So we've talked about the growth, we've talked about the foundation. Now let's talk about what you guys actually make here, because I know that there's people watching right now that are curious and going, well, I'm inspired and I also kind of want to start a shop, but I'm also looking for companies that can support me in my product. So what do you guys make, and where do you place your values when it comes to company ethics?
The easiest one of those questions to answer is our values. Our values is to bend over backwards for the customer. Even if we misquote it, I joke that every good customer starts with misquote. Whoops, we missed that feature. We're going to have to figure out how to make this feature, or we're going to lose our butt on it, but it doesn't matter. We got to deliver for the customer. So, we really focus on customer satisfaction and doing whatever we can. And when we pull off sometimes the impossible, then it breeds to a relationship with the customer that trusts us. So what do we make is fast turnaround, high quality, complicated parts. So industries that appreciate that. A lot of aerospace, medical, things where time is money. These are typical industries. Or energy, startup, green energy right now is pretty big. People that respect the time value, the money value of time.
I agree. Time is the one thing we cannot get back, and it is so very important to so many of us. You place a lot of what you do on quality and the ability to turn it around quickly, having stock in-house and ready to go. We see in the background here a Matsura machine. We see right beside you a Haas UMC. You've really grown this facility, and you dedicate yourself with partners or clients that need something right away, and you actually deem yourself or giving yourself an own type of term where when someone gets into trouble, they can give you a call and find a solution. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is right. We do. That's why we're here, is to help customers. How are we going to get in a bind? How are we going to get through this? How are we going to get this part? Whether it's a NASA facility, we don't want to slip launch date. How are we going to get this part done quickly? That's what we're here for, is to talk to the customers, understand their need, and then provide a solution that we can get to that.
Dan, while walking around here, I see that your employees and coworkers seem to really value what they're doing here at 0 Hour Parts. Is that part of the culture that you've brought in to really bring value to them as well and let them know they're important?
Yeah, for sure. Employees are so critical. We have all the equipment in the world, but without employees that care, that pay attention, that want to produce a good product, it's impossible to do. We develop a culture here where we all get along, we all communicate. It's open door policy. Everybody's respected, treated professionally. It's just so key. Employees are just so key. No matter how much automation we have and invest in, we're still going to have employees. And it's still so critical to us to treat our employees well. Once you have customers, you need employees. And if you treat customers well and treat employees well, then you have a successful business, in my mind.
While traveling around, Dan, I really go into shops and I see really amazing parts being made and machines like the Matsura. But something maybe that is underrated that we don't discuss enough is communication. When someone's looking to get a job done, especially the way you do things with, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble and I need your help and I need quality and I need it yesterday, communication is utmost importance. Where do you place communication on your scale of values?
Oh yeah, it's critical. We have to communicate. I mean, one piece of data that doesn't flow in the system correctly, I mean, the job could be scrapped, start over. I mean, it's so key to always be in contact. I encourage all my employees to be out. We have a good culture. Everyone, every other Friday we get together for lunch. We actually cook here for everybody as a team, and we have morning meetings, constant communication, and that's honestly one reason why we're a little bit more expensive than others, because there's a lot of effort that's not at the machine, programming, we're making chips, communicating. What does the customer really want? We have such a diverse customer base that it's very challenging. What they're, a print is a great language, but it's not a complete language. You get a relationship with customers, you start realizing what they mean, an interpretation of their prints, and what they really want. And that's so key to communicate to everybody in the team and be able to get that product that the customer wants to see on their desk.
Yeah, I know the audience right now wants to hear that. It's a great message to share. And as a prototype shop and someone who gets these types of jobs, I would imagine there's people out there right now going, how do I get in touch? How do I find out more? How can I work with 0 Hour Parts right now? Can they find a website? Do you have social media presence? Where can they best find you other than your home address and personal cell number?
Right. 0hourparts.com is the best place to find us. And quote at 0hourparts.com is the best place to get a hold of initially our customer service team.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you sharing this story with the audience. I know there's people out there right now excited, looking up your website to see how they can work with you moving into the future. So again, I do appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.